it took some time for me to realize that, there's more to life than work.
Anastasia Pash is our guest today on CallumConnects Micro-Podcast. Anastasia is a serial entrepreneur and the author of Travel with Style, a book that empowers women to look and feel their best on their trips.
A hurdle I faced as a leader is allowing myself to move beyond identifying myself with my work. I was always very goal-driven and ambitious. I went to a top university. I worked for some of the top names in the finance industry at the beginning of my career. Then when I moved into being an entrepreneur, it was really all about having the same mindset. My work was my life, my company was my life, and I really identified myself as the leader of my company. And it took some time for me to realize that, there's more to life than work. And I feel like it is a really important conversation to have with leaders, especially young leaders today, because there is a narrative around the fact that you have to really sacrifice a lot of things like your health and your relationships and your passions and hobbies to succeed, which I don't believe is the case, actually. I think it's a very unsustainable way of thinking about things, and that we'd be much better off where we are building up from a base of a healthy body and a healthy mind and healthy relationships in our lives, and time to do the things that we actually love, so that we can build businesses that are actually based on that kind of sense of abundance and wanting to give, and creating leaders that can make decisions that come from a place of wholeness and not scarcity and fear. And this year I have actually created something that I've been longing for a long time, and it's also been challenged. So I have written a book. It's called Travel with Style, and it combines my two biggest passions, which are travel and fashion. I've been to over 40 countries. I lived in 9 across 4 continents. So I packed a lot of suitcases, and I found that the clothes that we wear when we go somewhere really create opportunities for connections that, jeans and a t-shirt or sports clothes can't. And so I wrote this book to empower women to use their clothes to communicate with the world, to feel beautiful, feel confident, to look appropriate wherever they go, and to foster those genuine connections, because you never know who you're going to end up meeting on your trip. I met my husband on one of my holidays. And so this book has been a passion project for me, but it's also been very difficult for me to say, hey, I'm also an author, because, for the last 6 years, I was an entrepreneur, and now I have to allow myself to go out of that, beyond that label, beyond that box I put myself into, and say that, no, hey guys, actually, I'm also an author. So I think that it's a really important thing for young people to know, for leaders to know, that, we shouldn't put ourselves in a box, and we shouldn't identify ourselves with just our company, because we're so much more than that. We are multifaceted beings with talents, with passions and curiosities, and we shouldn't stifle those. So whoever's listening to this today, if there is something that excites you, something that makes you curious, go for it.
If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to find more inspiring information about entrepreneurs around the world doing incredible things, make your way to enterprisezone.cc.